Hello and welcome back. We have a huge episode for you today. It's going to be a banger of an episode. Happy Friday, 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 Friday. I know that puts everyone in a good mood knowing that the week is done, the weekend is coming up. It is Friday, but before we get into the tea and spilling of all of the tea and talking about all of the stuff that's been going on this week, can we just take a moment to give a round of applause to the boys, the Leafs? Hey! Yes, yes, yes! The Leafs 3-0 right now against the Ottawa Senators. Let's go, boys! Let's go, Leafs! Oh my gosh! Is this year our year? As a lifelong Leafs fan, that's what we say every year. But is this year our year? If you think so, or you just want a good chuckle, or you just want to follow along with the season, make sure please to check out Our Year Hockey on YouTube. It's an amazing web series, and it's super funny. And yes, just a little plug. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? But it's super good. I'll tag them and I'll drop it in the description. They're super, super funny episodes following, of course, Leafs fans, and it being our year. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it. Who knows what's going to happen in the playoffs, but I know right now the Leafs are crushing it. Was I celebrating? Yes. Because is there any other better foreplay than a huge Leafs win? I do not think so. Let's go. I'm so excited for hockey night tomorrow. Okay, so what are we going to get into today? Well, obviously the freaking elephant in the room. Yes, Time 100 had their little thing yesterday. Super cool. We'll definitely get into that. We're going to do a little bit of what you watching because there are some juicy things happening right now on TV. Then we're going to get into some Shannon Sharpe. I'm sure by now all of y'all have had the news, and I have some things to say about that. Also, if you're here for the video to go over the motions that have been filed, that will be in a separate video. I've read the motions now to Stephanie Jones, the amended lawsuits, and I will be going over that in a video right after this, and I've highlighted all of the relevant information. So if you're here for that, it'll be on the next video. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. In Frame with Mandy Magnan. I am going to say quickly that I am reconfiguring my Instagram. I've never posted any of the in frame, these episodes, or anything that I do on TikTok to my Instagram. And I think that's a little bit out of fear because I've had my Instagram for so long, and I know a lot of producers and directors and writers and casting directors. And out of fear of speaking out or speaking up or using my voice, I haven't really used Instagram that way. And actually, I've been kind of like not liking Instagram for that because I feel like I'm like hiding huge pieces of my life. And so I am going to be sharing a lot more on Instagram. I want to share more stories and be more connected to you daily. So if you could go and like support me and follow me on Instagram, I know that's like so tacky to ask, but I am going to be doing more stuff on there, and then we can just like, you know, keep building and collaborating and building this community together a lot more. But I definitely do need your support. So I'll drop my Instagram handle. It's just my name, Mandy Magnan. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So the elephant in the room, Blake and Ryan, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were at the Time 100. It's weird, brah. It's weird. I'm going to tell you right now, I think it is so freaking strange that y'all are just running around acting like life is normal, everything's Gucci, like nobody knows what's going on. You're in a battle. Like I keep saying this, like it's weird. What you're doing is very, very, very strange. It's so strange. And using your mom as a prop is a whole new low. It's a whole new low. And just when you think Blake and Ryan can't get any lower, they do. And next stop, Oblivion, okay? Because this is so freaking weird. Using your mom, when I saw this.
And we will drag your name through the mud and sue you into oblivion.
OMG, okay? It is obviously a PR stunt. And all I have to say to you both is go away. Stop with these awful PR moves and acting like everything is so normal and everything is okay when it's like literally you two are diabolical, malicious, narcissistic, sociopathic monsters. Okay, I am being so freaking for real. Stop. Didn't you talk beforehand, before filing your lawsuit, when you guys were all colluding together for months? Leslie Sloan, Stephanie Jones, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, all of the dragons. Didn't you guys talk about what your life was going to look like when you were going to file this lawsuit? Obviously, it comes with having to take a step back out of the spotlight for a minute and deal with your shit. You know, you have to deal with it. Okay, but y'all are just carrying on like everything is so freaking normal when literally a week ago we just found out that you guys did the most shadiest, scammiest thing, abuse of law, whether, again, we find out whether it's illegal or not, it's morally corrupt that you hid this and then come out with this blanket statement of like, we have nothing to hide. What is going, it's so gross. It's so gross. Oh my God. And there's also a clip of, you know, Ryan and Blake talking when they're like, oh, it's so nice to not be screamed at and stuff. And why do you think they're not yelling at you and like trying to grab your attention? Because no one is infatuated anymore. None of these people like you, nor do they respect you. What you're doing is weird, but they still want to take your pictures because they want to boost their publications, right? Of course you're there. They're going to be taking the pictures of you, but like, gosh, go, like, it's just like, oh my God. Oh my God. You're giving the same energy that you've been giving for the decades now, acting like everything is totally fine and everything is so normal. And it's beyond me. It's so weird. And then you have Blake Lively, who was given the mic and said this.
I have so much to say about the last 2 years of my life, but tonight is not the forum. What I will speak to separately is the feeling of being a woman who has a voice today. And since I could speak, because of the pain, caution, and fight of the many women who have paved the way and the men who stood beside them. Millions I will never know the name of, because every life, every act, big or small, affects another. Before I say more, I want to warn that I will speak about tonight covers trauma, so please feel free to step away if you need. My life was influenced most by my mother, sitting here tonight, Willie Elaine McAlpin. She's an eternal optimist, and she's always leaving me messages, hooping and hollering and saying, "Woo, life's just a bowl of cherries." It's true, always. And she'll get your number tonight, and she'll leave you those messages, so please be warned. But at her urging and her unwavering bravery, she wanted me to share with you that she is a survivor of the worst crime someone can commit against a woman. I've watched her conceal her raw and undeserved shame my entire life. So as her daughter, being asked to share this today is monumental. If we name it, we change it. Just as our fellow Time 100 honoree, the incredible Giselle Pellicot, put it to every woman who understood, it's not for us to have shame, it's for them.
And now, if you want, you could just rewind that speech again if you think that it was a little strange, because it's so weird. And I want you to rewatch it again, and I want you to look at the crowd behind Blake, because they're all thinking the same thing. Those women are thinking the same thing that we're all thinking. Okay, girl, bye. The change you need, Blake, takes work. It takes time, okay? It takes time for you to be a good person. You're not. We all know that, okay? We all know that you and your husband are literal monsters, in my opinion, okay? But for you to now share your story about your mom's abuse, where was this energy during It Ends With Us? Because they had to literally beg you to pivot and say one thing about DV survivors, okay? And now you're just going to come out and what? Be the spokesperson for women and victims and survivors? Are you out of your mind? You need to take a long break, step out of the spotlight, and go do some work, okay? Go touch grass, go see a therapist, go do something, because what you're doing and what you continue to do time and time again is so tasteless. It's so like tone deaf, and it's actually very appalling. And I think Megyn Kelly said it best when she was on the red carpet, the same red carpet that Blake Lively was on last night.
Well, I'm definitely hoping for some sort of a selfie in the distance with both Blake Lively and Meghan Markle, since they provided me with so many hours of content. It's a ridiculous joke. She shouldn't be there. She has no influence over anything. I mean, I think she launched a fake Me Too allegation against him, and she's lived to regret doing it because virtually every allegation she has made has fallen apart. And so for her to be honored for doing that, to try to ruin a man over absolutely nothing, is a scandal. And obviously they're looking for big stars to come here and generate pages on their magazines, but that was very wrong. Right. We have to be very clear-eyed on what looks real and what doesn't, and call it out when it isn't. Otherwise, no one who's actually experienced these things is going to be believed.
And what's so extremely strange about this, in my opinion, again, is that now Blake and Blake's team are going to blame the bad press and the internet sleuth like us, coming at her and attacking her, and she's going to be like, oh my God, it doesn't matter what I do. Everyone hates me. I'm a victim. This is all because of Justin Baldoni. No, girl. It's because of you and your husband, okay? It's because of you and your husband, because you keep weaponizing women's pain. Now you're literally using your mom as a prop, okay, for some huge PR stunt. I could not, when I say my jaw was on the floor when I heard this, I could not believe it. So just stop. What are you supposed to do right now? Nothing. Stop. Remove yourself from the spotlight. Just oh my God, stop. What was your plan? What did your managers and your crisis managers and all of your lawyers and everything say to you? Are they telling you, go out there, act normal, act like everything's fine? No, you're supposed to take a step back, take a pause. It's gross, it's sickening. And to use your mom once again, number one, it is so clearly obvious that you're using her as a prop, okay? Whether or not you're even talking truth, I don't even know. Okay, it's just so gross. It's so gross and it's appalling. And yeah, just gross. Gross! This week it was announced that Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman was going to be subpoenaed, and of course, I didn't really talk about this much this week because I didn't think that it was surprising at all. I wasn't shocked. I mean, clearly that's what's going to happen. There's going to be way more people. And yeah, but I guess it's big news and everyone ran with it and it was supposed to be this huge shocker of a thing. I wasn't shocked. Clearly we're all waiting for this. We'll see, I mean, it's just the beginning, right, of the people who will have to be subpoenaed and deposed at It Ends With Us in court. It ends with us stuff going on this week. In related news this week, there's a lot of motions. I mean, everyone's getting a lawyer, and you get a lawyer, and you get a lawyer, and you get a lawyer. Listen up, Blake Lively and Stephanie Jones. It doesn't matter who you add to your team. You are guilty. You are guilty. There's more proof that y'all started the smear campaign against Justin and Wayfarer parties than there is proof that they started one against you. I mean, it's just insane that they're still pushing forward. And these people are just getting paid at this point. But everyone added a lawyer. Stephanie Jones added a lawyer. Blake Lively added a lawyer. And Justin Baldoni added a new lawyer. So there was a motion put in for Blake Lively's team to add Laura Prather to her team, as well as Michael Lambert. Here is Laura Lee Prather here, recognized nationally and internationally as a fearless freedom of expression advocate. Laura Lee Prather was awarded the American Lawyers' inaugural Tony Morrow Media Lawyer Award for her tireless and successful efforts for advocating for legislation to strengthen First Amendment rights, including zealous advocacy for free speech rights, both at the State House and the courthouse. I feel like maybe this was for Ryan Reynolds more than it was for Blake Lively, since he's claiming that doing and saying all of that stuff about Justin Baldoni was whatever. It was weird, brah. And then we have Michael Lambert, the office of Michael Lambert here. He is a criminal defense law attorney in New York. Don't let one mistake ruin your future. Yeah, how about freaking 5 dozen and counting mistakes? How about that? Because I don't see a very bright future if they continue on this path, but these are the 2 lawyers that are now added for the lively parties. The Wayfarer parties also put in a motion for a new lawyer to be added to their team. Mitra, who ran, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Y'all know I just like butcher names. So I'm so sorry, but this woman, let me tell you, this woman, woohoo! She's not only a lawyer, she is going to be a witness. Here she is right here, Mitra. Mitra is the founder and principal attorney at Hurrianin Law. Oh God, I'm so sorry. A full-service corporate and entertainment law firm based in Beverly Hills, California. She is well known for her down-to-earth personality and intelligent technique for making legal matters clear and understandable for her clients, while providing effective and creative strategies that get results. She's represented some of the most prominent actors, writers, directors, producers, models, influencers, financiers, and leaders from Hollywood, New York, and elsewhere, and prides herself on developing close and long-term relationships with clients. I heard somewhere through the grapevine that she is also of a Baha'i faith, and her and Justin have been friends for quite some time. Here you have together on their Instagram account. And not only that, but when I said nobody puts Baldoni in the basement, no one puts Mitra in the basement as well. Yes, she was at the premiere. So she is not only going to be the lawyer, she was there. She can account to exactly what was happening, how they were treated, and how they were escorted and ushered high security like they were freaking had, you know, it was nuts. But this is a really good ad, and I'm very happy that she is on the team, of course, and it's nice that, unlike Liz Plank, who turned her back on the Wayfarer parties immediately after co-hosting the Man Enough podcast for 4 years, she isn't going anywhere. Mitra is now on the Baldoni and Wayfarer case. And it's no surprise here that Stephanie motherfucking Jones also added her own lawyer, Danielle Lazarus. Stephanie Jones have been adding lawyers and lawyers through this whole thing. Here is Danielle Lazarus. Danielle Lazarus is an associate in Quinn Emanuel's New York office. She joined the firm in 2022. Her practice focuses on complex commercial litigation and security litigations. Okay, Stephanie. Nothing's like, y'all are in some serious trouble. Do you not understand? Serious trouble. You're in trouble, girl. And yes, there was some filings in the court yesterday. I read them last night and highlighted the most relevant events. We will go over them in the next video, but that's very important because then also, of course, Jones's people replied immediately with some nonsense like, I swear to gosh, Audacity was on sale at some point in late 2024, early 2025, and I must have just like missed the sale or something because the gaslighting, the Audacity, the complete, just like, it's just so bizarre. But we'll get into all of that as well as Brian Freeman's responses in the next video, where we will only talk specifically about these new motions. Well, it's now time. What you watching? OMG. Let's get into it. I only want to talk about 2 shows today, okay? I'm not going to go on a whole rant about all the shows that I'm watching. I want to talk about 2 shows. Let's start with The Last of Us. The way I wanted to come onto this microphone on Sunday, oh my gosh, Tuesday is Handmaid's, that's coming up. On Sunday night after watching the show and just like pour my guts out and tell everyone, oh my gosh, but I held off all week because I didn't want to give any spoilers. The way when I watched this show, the last episode of The Last of Us, I felt physically claustrophobic. First of all, I was like having like physical reactions to the show. That's how you know it's like so amazing. Like when she's crawling, and a bunch of spoilers coming up. So if y'all haven't seen the episode, don't come at me, okay? Like the way when she was crawling through the fence and crawling, oh my gosh. And the way it mirrors the game so well is absolutely, it was intense. It was terrifying the way she broke on the ice. You know, when she's like walking on the ice and you see all of them. The entire battle in the city was so crazy when Joel's brother had the fire torch. Oh my gosh, my heart was pounding the entire time. And then of course, the most heartbreaking thing happens and Joel I was bawling. I was bawling my eyes out. And you know what's crazy is I knew that was coming. I knew. I played the Last of Us game. I didn't play the second part, but my mom did. She's like a huge gamer. And she had told me last season, oh, well, don't get too invested in Joel, you know, he's going to die. He dies in the game. And I was like, hold the phone. You don't know they're going to follow the game specifically. Like, you don't know. You don't know they're going to follow the game specifically. But I had totally forgot that she had told me that, like, in the last season. And then this season, like I'd already mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, I was saying how my mom was so hyped about this season show because it's like following the game exactly. And she knew it was coming up and I forgot and my heart was ripped out of my chest. Okay. But the cutest thing is right after the show, he posted this picture on Instagram just to make sure that, you know, because you know how the unhinged part of social media, unfortunately, is that there are people who get very emotionally attached and literally cyber attack people personally, even if it's a character in a TV show. So that is so cute. And I remember that The Last of Us Game 2 like really tore the gaming community because now it's supposed to follow like Abby and like why she's like this and follows her. And I remember the gaming community was like kind of like really torn, and especially like now like the TV show people are really torn because it does go into that. Like I said right away, I was like, well, I don't care why she's like this. She killed Joel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like but we'll see. That episode must have been one of the best episodes I've seen on TV in forever ever. It was so bleeping good. And you know what? I just want to look up the casting director, and shouts out to the casting director because the casting in this series is absolutely unbelievable. So let's just look that up right now on IMDb. Okay, so we have the casting directors here. Huge shout out to the casting directors. I mean, unbelievable job casting, especially in the second season, but in all, you know, in both seasons. Amazing. So huge shout out to Victoria Thomas. She does Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, known for that. Lindsey Graham, who is known for Silver Linings Playbook, Sydney Shercliffe, who is from Aliens and Alien Romulus. Help me today. And then also Mary Vaneur, who is from Knives Out. Congratulations on this casting. Bravo. Bravo to the whole show. That last episode, oh my gosh, it just had me in a chokehold. You know, I was like, what is going on? The next show, Handmaid's Tale. Guys, these have to be two of the biggest shows out right now. The Handmaid's Tale. They are back in Gilead. Okay, the last episode, you know, it was kind of like a slow rollout this season. Getting there, amping up for it. But now I feel like things are about to get juicy. I actually love that June's friends in the show, like her husband as well as her best friend, are now like calling her out on her BS, because who is she to be the only one to like have grief and bitterness and anger and revenge, you know? Of course she was a Handmaid's Tale and went through a lot, but then when her friend explains it to her, like what she went through at Jezebel's, I mean, oh my God, what are we doing? Competing here? Who had it worse than Gilead? I mean, I just love that now they're all teamed up together and they're like, hey, this is what we're doing. I hope they bring Gilead down, and I hope that Hannah ends up in her arms. I don't know what's going to happen this season, but I'm so impressed by this show. I mean, the message of the show, first of all, but also just like the acting is brilliant, the way it's shot is brilliant, the cinematography is brilliant. I mean, I'm just like obsessed, and I feel like June at the end, I don't know if she's going to have to choose between her husband or Nick. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that show. But the last episode was awesome. And of course, they were able to a commander. And whenever that happens, hey, shut out. And yeah, we'll see. My gosh, that show also, it just has me. It has me. I can't believe it's the final season. I'm happy now things in the episodes are like moving. You know, we're getting into it. They're in Gilead. Commander Lawrence knows. He put them in the trunk. What's going to happen? I don't know. I also do want to talk about something just a little bit strange that happened to me this week. While I was researching Ryan Reynolds at the Time Summit where he spoke, I'm not going to show any of that clips now. It's kind of like old news. If you've been following the case, you followed the case. I have opinions on it, but whatever. It was what it was. It's very strange. Again, it's very weird and strange that they're just coming out here and acting like everything's normal, and then they're like some role models we should look up to in business and celebrity and in movies. I think it's very strange. We all know that they like to crush small people now and that they take over people's films. I mean, it ends with us, Deadpool, whatever that is. However, I want to talk about something serious to Canadians. While I was trying to go on Time's Instagram to look at clips, do some research, and also see the other nominees like my girl Scarlett Johansson, who I'm honestly in love and obsessed with, but there are other people that I wanted to see as well. I wanted to see what they were saying and little blurbs on them and catch some goodness. This is what I got on Instagram. And this should be very, very, very concerning for you. I'm not going to speak too much or too long on it, but it was alarming to me, and I don't know how long it's been like this for. So if you're on FBook or IG and you are Canadian, there is an election coming up and it is time to vote. Because why in Canada are they even blocking us from going on Time magazine? Because they are a media and news company. This should be alarming. I went to go get more information and it just said, in response to the Online News Act, Instagram restricts the sharing and viewing of news links and all posts from news outlets accounts in Canada. If you are in Canada, this means you can no longer share or view news links on Instagram from stories or profile bios, including news links from any news outlet accounts. You can no longer see content from any news outlet accounts, even if you search for them or follow them. Right. This is very strange to me. It's very bizarre because if one day, I'm in Time, I won't even be able to see it. This is so alarming. And right now there is somebody running for prime minister who wants to do way more than this and have the final say and okay and enact certain acts that will give him the authority to rule even beyond what our laws and our courts and our rights are. So please, 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 I know we don't really take politics as serious and it's not really in our face as much as it is in America, but there are things happening here. Your voice and your vote matters. So please go out and vote. Before we get into the news that kind of rocked the world in a non-surprising but definitely shocking way this week with Mr. Shannon Sharpe, it's going to get a little serious because I have a lot to say on it and I'm going to pull from personal experience. But before we do that, I just want to go into some of the comments because I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate the community we're building here. And yeah, I just want to bring up a few comments that I thought were pretty, I don't know, I just screenshot them when I read them because I thought they did something to me. I honestly don't even remember which the comments are, but while I'm going through comments and replying and, engaging in with you guys, I screenshot certain ones at the time that just are like, okay, so let's get into a few of those right now. On my video that I posted, Blake Lively, Nothing to Hide, Are You Sure plus more, that was in the last episode. Joe Raz wrote, so many questions, so shady. How did they know to go straight to Stephanie Jones, then no one else? Did they break out the crystal ball? And Stephanie Jones' face appeared? How did they know to choose her? Why was Stephanie Jones traveling with Abel's phone to New York? Van Zandt has nothing to do with any of this. Then the lawsuit mentions nothing about sexual harassment. The lawsuit was so vague. I would guess that they did not think it would get this far. They thought they would scare Justin so badly and he would stick his head in the sand and go away. Therefore, there would be no reason for anyone to look into the bogus lawsuit. They were so confident and cocky. Now it's biting them in the butt. Joe Raz, have you been watching my channel? Because you just summed up everything that I've been thinking and that I've been saying. Make your point, period. We also talked about the remake. There was news out last week that they were remaking Whitney Houston's unremakeable The Bodyguard, and rumors that maybe it would be Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian. Don't get me into it. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. However, Joe Raz, oh, look, it's Joe Raz again. Hey. I guess Joe Raz is the top commenter right now because he also, or they also, I screenshotted. This is just by fluke. Nope, it cannot be remade. No one can replace Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. Please don't respect Whitney Houston by remaking it with Kim Kardashian especially. I have no beef with her, LOL. It's just that she's not a singer or an actress. In no way did she earn the part. What's next? Replacing Kevin Costner with Logan Paul? And then that's what made me laugh so much because it's like, what are we doing? Yeah, I have very strong opinions on this whole remake rumor. Check out the video if you want to, like, don't get me started. Don't get me started. And the last comment I'll be sharing, and this is kind of just like a little ego boost because it's so nice to hear nice things, especially when you have, you know, again, the stuff from the internet, people, you can be kind of bogged down by some of the negativity. So I like to always look at the positive sometimes. So thank you so much, Miss Dre Heath. You wrote, you're one of my favorites, just so you know. And oh, wow. Oh my God. Thank you. And I still resonate with that so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you truly for being here and being part of this amazing community that we're building. And now the final bit. Mr. Shannon Sharpe, NFL champion, who cares? He is being sued this week for many things, but one of them being sexual assault. I have a lot to say on this. I'm going to try to hold my tongue as best as possible when I say this. Disgusting. Disgusting. I didn't know very much about this man, nor do I know too much about him now, or do I want to know anything else about him. I think he had a couple of hit podcasts with great hosts that made his show of value or importance. I've watched clips of him talk about young girls. I've seen clips of him talk about OF creators. I've seen he's just, to me, he's always been gross and shady and a creepy old man. And people are going to be like, oh, it was a shakedown. Oh, she did it. Oh, it was Ken. She was 19. 19 when they met. He was in his 50s. Oh, well, she's a spicy content creator. She was 19. 19. He has daughters who are in their 30s. She was 19. Teen. Now we can look at the dynamics of why young women in their teenage years are aspiring to be Instagram baddies or OF content creators or, center themselves around men and validation and being sexy and wanting to be picked and chosen and then be a baller and be a girl that just gets rained through. We can talk about all of those dynamics, okay? But what happened here is absolutely disgusting, okay? He was in his 50s. 54, I believe, at the time. She was 19. They met at the gym. He went up to her. They started a consensual relationship, I guess. That was a lot of, freaky deaky stuff. A lot of freaky, and you could be a freak in the sheets, girl. You could be a freaky deaky with someone close to your own age. Not, again, 19. Teen. Why is a man in his 50s doing things like this and wanting to do things like this and attracted to girls who are younger, decades younger than his daughters? It's absolutely appalling. Oh, but it's a shakedown. Oh, she's using him for money. He tried to settle in mediation for $10 million. Does that sound like an innocent man? An innocent man? who offers this girl $10 million in mediation. When you're innocent, you don't settle. You want to see it all the way through. You want to clear your name. You want to be a Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni. When you're guilty, you try to pay and get an NDA signed. Okay? She was 19 when they met. I don't know how many times do I have to say this. It's absolutely disgusting. And he's now come out and made statements and da-da-da-da-da. Oh, these are the texts she sent me. This is how our relationship was. She used to tell me, oh, I want a big black baby put in me or whatever. Each ass cheek is going to cost $25K, whatever. I don't care about any of that. I don't care what your relationship was. If y'all went through my text messages with my man, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a grown woman, okay? He was in his 50s with a 19-year-old. She's a freaking baby. It's disgusting. And I don't care about any of the text messages. I don't care about how their relationship was. I don't care what kind of freaky deaky choking, wild kind of weird kinks you got going on. What I do care about, Mr. Shannon Sharpe, is this. This night, when she texted you and said, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and not put it in my bleep, but you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. I don't know how to process this. And what did you say? Can I call you later? I want to know what no means no. Do you know what that means, Shannon? No means no. I don't care if you guys 5 nights a week for 3 years or whatever it was, 2 years. I don't care what it was. I don't care. When she says no, you immediately back the F off. Do you understand? I don't care if you used to tie her up, put her in freaking outfit. I don't care. She literally is telling you, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and not put it in my... And you didn't listen. You didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no. Now, why does this get me so fired up? And I'm going to go into a few stories, so trigger warning right now, okay? I'm going to actually open up a little bit and tell you a little bit about my past and some personal stories of why this and why society and why this whole thing just absolutely disgusts me, and why I hear when men, especially older men who have never even had a woman now to this day even try to sleep with them, try to talk about this. Oh, she's a spicy content creator. Oh, she lured him. Oh, she did this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You've never been in the arena. Stop talking. Okay? The woman you see here sitting in front of you today is not the young girl that I was. It's taken me decades to be able to sit here in front of you today who I am. I'm not going to go too much into all of my past. That's maybe for more videos as we keep going. But I will say that when I was younger, I was pick me for sure. I was looking at men who was going to love me. I put up with a lot of violence, assault, manipulation, abuse from men because I thought maybe if I just got through this period of time, then they would love me and choose me and take care of me. And I think that for young girls who are seeking male validation and who are centered with accepting male validation, and men especially who are infatuated with these young girls, for girls it can be very confusing, as well as it becomes very traumatizing, and it can be very, very scary because there is a fine line between infatuation and being in love. Not a fine line, there is a huge gap, a huge freaking gap. And when you're younger, you don't understand the difference of men being drawn to you, wanting you sexually, as well as just wanting you to be their little puppet and fully taking advantage of you, and you thinking that it is in the name of love. And I feel for this girl, as well as for many young women who are growing up still with a mindset of that, of chasing man or a man to fill something inside of them. At least that was what it was for me. And I will say that there's a lot to look at when it comes to this specific case, but also in general in society, why men in their 50s, 60s, etc. are going after 19-year-old girls, why successful men like this are going after 20-year-old OnlyFans creators, but also why girls are still putting up with abuse and centering their validation by the male gaze. And I think for this girl, I don't know her, but I would assume by her content and from what I've heard that she is just a young girl looking for her place, wanting to be probably famous, wanting to be an Instagram baddie, an OF girl, make millions. And when she met Shannon Sharpe and they started a consensual relationship, that she thought this time would pass, that she thought if she just hung on, he would love her and pick her and take care of her and she would make it. And that's very sad. Okay. Number one. When I was younger, I started dating this man who was appalling physically, honestly, balding, overweight, but charming, very highly manipulative, which I knew somewhere in the middle of the relationship, and was not a good person, but he was super charismatic, very charming at first. As we first started dating, I was working in a restaurant, a chain restaurant, and he was working at the same chain restaurant, but in a different location. While we started dating, he transferred to my location and became my assistant general manager while I was only a hostess. Okay? I was a young girl. He was now my assistant general manager. Of course, it was top secret. Everyone knew, but it was whatever, for sake of the story, we'll say it was under wraps. Everyone knew, but of course, no one talked to the managers, and the leadership didn't talk about it because he was making them a lot of money. Well, the abuse started very slowly, but it started and it got pretty out of control. I heard another person say that Shannon Sharpe first assaulted this woman in October, and then she went back to him in January and he did it again, and people are confused as to why she would go back if he already did that, and that's why they don't believe her, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Until you're in the mindset or in a relationship like this, or have ever been in a relationship like this, or know anything about statistics when it comes to DV, or when it comes to abuse, or when it comes to this kind of relationship, oftentimes women do go back. And now let's not forget that she is a very young, impressionable woman, okay? She's a girl. But I was about her age, maybe 2 years older, and the abuse started. He would get extremely drunk, and when I wouldn't answer him, he would break into my apartment, and he would be so blackout drunk that he would just pass out, pee in my bed. And those were the nights that I actually prayed for, is when he was blackout drunk, because then he wouldn't try to sleep with me. On the nights where he was feeling kind of spicy, he would show up drunk. He would, we would engage in sexual activity. And then he would try to put it in my beep, same as what this girl is claiming. And I would say no, and I would fight him, and I would say no, 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 and he would hold me down and say, just bite the pillow. It won't hurt for that long. And I would. And I would. And he would do it, and then he would roll over, and he would pass out. Do you think that I left him after the first time he did that? The second time he did that? The third time? Now, am I saying that that wasn't not consensual because I didn't fight and scream and fight for my life and say no? But that's what happens slowly when you start being manipulated and used and twisted and broken down. But I didn't leave. I didn't leave for a long time, and that happened for a long time, and way worse things. Way worse things. But we were in a loving, consensual relationship, and when he was good, he was good. You know? It was love, I thought. I thought if we just got over this phase, if I just gave him everything he wanted, if I didn't fight back, if I just bit the pillow. Sometimes that's easier than fighting back. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel for this young girl. She's 20, 22 now. She hasn't even seen the world. She doesn't even know who she is. He's in his 50s. Do you understand? So everyone's saying, oh, why didn't she leave the first time? Why is she still entertaining him? That's what happens in abusive relationships, especially when there is a power dynamic. Okay? It's not that easy to just leave. I tried to leave this man, oh gosh, a dozen times. And what finally made me leave this man is when I found out on my birthday, at my birthday party, that he had slept with one of my best friends at a cottage that we were all staying at. That weekend, I heard that he had slept with her, and he denied it. He made me feel crazy. He made me feel crazy that I would believe some rumors like that. How insane. And then a year later, from her, I found out it was true on my birthday. That was it for me. But it took years of abuse I was in. Years, okay? You hope that, it's going to pass. And that's just one instance. When I was younger, I went out with an older man who lured me, and finally we went out. He was into kinky stuff too. He was the most nice, charismatic, rich, very rich man, older man. He was about 30 years older than me. I was in my 20s. We went out a few times, and then on the last date, we ended up at his house, which happens, obviously. He was into kinky stuff. He wanted to spank me. He hit me so hard. I had bruises from my hip all the way down to my legs for a week. But I didn't entertain him after that because I had already gone through what I needed to go through. Disgusting, these men, okay? I'm just sharing this to let you know that when you're young and you don't know who you are yet, and you're wanted and desired and infatuated by many men, and you're looking for that man, to make you whole, to take care of you, you'll put up with a lot of stuff. And even women who aren't this young put up with so much stuff. Look at our moms, our aunts, our grandmas, our great-grandmas. It's not that easy to just call it quits, especially when you've built something, especially when they're one way and then another way. Do you know? It's just... Anyway, that boyfriend at the time who I broke up with on my birthday and finally didn't go back to, he started sleeping with all the other young servers at my restaurant, probably in a way to humiliate and get back at me, make me jealous, whatever. And it turned out that what he used to do is pee on these young girls and take videos of them and then show all of the guys at the restaurants. That's what these men do. Disgusting. Okay? Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm sure I got a little deep on you, but I recognize this, and for him to just say, oh, it's a shakedown, it's this. You put yourself in that situation. What are you doing dating a 20-year-old when you're in your 50s? It's disgusting. And if it was such a shakedown, why didn't she take the $10 million? Because that sounds like a good amount if it was just a shakedown. I think it's a lot more than a shakedown, but there isn't enough information out there yet to see. But I think either way, Shannon Sharpe, you are disgusting. Okay, well, sorry guys, I went there. I didn't mean to. I don't know if that affected you at all. I'm so sorry if I triggered anything in you, but I have a past, okay? A past. I'm telling you right now. So let's just shake that off. And yeah, I guess to end on a positive note, I mean, now after speaking a little bit of my truth, what's really coming to me is you are not your past. You are not defined by your past. That is a story. You don't have to give it power or energy, and you can choose every day who you are, okay, and who you're going to be. Does it take time? Yes. Does it happen overnight? Absolutely not, okay? It doesn't. It takes a lot of work, especially depending on where you came from. For me personally, in my teens and in my 20s, while everyone was figuring out what they wanted to be and who they were going to be and what they wanted to do, and in their 20s they were building and thriving, I was a mess. I was suffering. I was broken. I was healing. I was fixing parts of myself that needed to be fixed in order to be able to sit here today. So your past only has a certain amount of power over you, and that power is what you give it. Okay? You can choose and you can make a change. And I hope you do. And I hope you wake up every day and choose today who you want to be. And every day, give that energy and give that person the power. Okay? Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you all. And yeah, check out the next video because we're going to be going through the new motions that were filed as well as all of the responses. I love you so much, and I hope you're having a good day. Bye.